This is the Management Individual Campaign. This tape has been produced especially for you, to help you in your dealings with a potential market of 3 million or so managers who have direct responsibility for deciding their company's communication policy or have influence on the use of communications.
Say you, say me.
Last year, millions of people heard that music, the accompaniment to the British Telecom brand campaign. And what made it different from other campaigns was that for the first time, we decided we were going to promote a brand, not a product, the British Telecom brand. But you might well ask, why are we going to so much trouble to advertise British Telecom? Surely everyone's heard of us. Our customers certainly know of British Telecom, but they didn't know what we stood for.
Bureaucracy or efficiency?
Helpfulness or lack of interest?
Just the phone service or a full communications consultancy?
We want our brand to put the seal of excellence on all our products. If, for instance, you buy Marks & Spencer, you buy quality whatever the product. And when we asked people what they thought we should stand for, it boiled down to two things: helpfulness and expertise. We were on our way to building a company that was customer, not product-led.
Anything else?
And sociology.
An ology? He gets an ology and he says he's failed. You get an ology, you're a scientist.
Thanks to Maureen Lipman and a little creative input from us, that campaign made its mark with our domestic market. That we were a helpful, expert organization, bringing people together and improving their quality of life. So far, so good. But what about that other huge section of society? The 3 million or so managers we mentioned just now, who have direct responsibility and influence for deciding which communication tools to use. The Management Individual Campaign is the next step in the development of our brand image, but with potentially greater rewards. By now, most of you will have been briefed on our radical advertising campaign. We're deliberately setting out to be provocative.
Is work taking up so much time and energy that on reflection, life would be easier if you'd married the boss?
Ads like that should touch a nerve, and that's what we want, because we aim to start people really thinking about the way they live. Once they've recognized for themselves that their life is unnecessarily stressful, they will more readily accept what we can offer. What we've got to do is convince decision-makers that good communications can help them in more ways than one.
It can improve the efficiency and turnover of their business.
It can unlock a manager from the stranglehold of his work and give him more time to enjoy his private life.
But you know and I know it's a challenge, because businesses in this country still don't see the real advantages in communications.
Who needs a fax when you've got a perfectly good postal system?
Cell phone? A waste of money. Anyway, I like to switch off when I'm driving.
An 0800 number for my Salesforce? Not interested.
If we don't take up this challenge, our competitors will. 90% of our profits come from the business sector, and they're worth a lot of money, over £5 billion a year.
Which is why we've come up with workplan. Now, at its simplest, workplan is a two-part business-orientated questionnaire, which will be sent primarily to people who respond to our advertising campaign, but we'll also canvass many of our existing customers. At its most sophisticated, workplan is an ingenious device that allows someone, by self-analysis, to recognise their managerial weaknesses, which we, of course, at British Telecom, can help them overcome. Now, the first part is a self-assessment questionnaire on very general management issues. The second part, this is the important one, asks specific questions on communications, and that's the bit that's returned to us at British Telecom for computer analysis. The questionnaire is the brainchild of Dr. John Nicolson, a leading psychologist and management consultant.
If you haven't time to fill this in, you need to fill this in.
So, how does it work?
We've drawn up a deceptively simple questionnaire to which the answers are always either yes or no. And believe you me, even if a manager thinks he's answering the way we want him to answer, he'll get caught out. For instance, we ask them whether they tend to keep working on a project until it's perfect. Well, you might have thought any really diligent manager would answer yes to that one. Workplan takes the opposite view. Perfectionists don't make the best use of their time, and there are no points for managers who normally work at weekends and through their lunch break. There's no room for martyrs here. Once the manager has completed the personal questions, he's asked to answer some others, specially designed to find out about his communication needs, and again we've been a bit clever. Instead of asking him if he's interested in a fax machine, we inquire if he's ever failed to get new business because his quotation arrived late.
Now, by this stage, we will have struck a chord with all those managers. The self-analysis of his answers, to which we've given him a simple scoring system, should have pointed up a need for action. Instead of worrying about how he can solve his problems, there is a better way. By returning the second part of the questionnaire to us, we'll do the rest. We'll put his answers through a specially programmed computer, which will provide a series of solutions to his particular communications problems, and we'll supply it in a very smart work plan handbook. Now, this second stage, this will be the first time we've begun to talk about our products. Until now, remember, we've been customer-led. What are his needs, not what products do we have to sell? The response to our personalised analysis of his problems should be sufficiently compelling to motivate him to make use again of our free 0800 response number. And he should ask for someone to talk to him about his special needs. Or even better, he might ask for specific product literature. And this is where you come into your own. Now, your role, it isn't just to sell products, it's also to help your potential customers improve their channels of communication. Remember, it's your expertise they want, that's why they've asked to talk to you. So be positive. It's your subject, you know more than they ever will. So, how do you prepare yourself for this new role? Well, the best thing to do is to complete the work plan questionnaire yourself. It doesn't take long and is interesting to do. The management individual campaign is brave and it's radical, and it can only succeed with your help. But so long as you remember it's a campaign about people, their relationship with their families and their colleagues, and with us at British Telecom, you won't go far wrong.
We want you to be part of the solution, not part of the problem.
Naturally.
British Telecom. It's you we answer to.